So today, I feel is super cool because we're going to take you through our journey.
My niece had a dream that I was going to marry a Jew. It's funny because it was different dreams. She had a dream, then someone else was telling me,
Julian.
okay. He was stalking me and he tried to crash this class
Wow.
that I was in. That's how it started.
She had like stiletto 5-inch boots with pink on the bottom. And I remember she had the matching shirt. Like it was like the ugly stage dread twist.
You know when you growing your hair back after a big chop? He caught me right there.
Weird, because I'm like, dang, I gotta hurry up and ask it. I can't really think about it because I'm pressured. And so
Oh,
I
it's
was
the
just
pressure.
like, give me your number.
Literally.
And then you took me on this 3-4 year journey
Wild ride.
of
Did I ever say how sorry I am?
don't be
How
sorry
much I love you?
because I got what I want. From that moment, my
You were cold.
whole heart, everything, like
Yeah.
it just went like it went Antarctica. Like
Yeah.
it was
You were
cold.
very cold toward me. I remember seeing you specifically because you would hold the offering bucket and going up to you and like you wouldn't even look at me. Like you were so cold.
Even if it was the Lord's predestined will,
Mm-hmm.
if there was no willingness on both people,
Mm-hmm.
if there was
Ooh, that's good,
no
yeah.
change on my part,
Yeah.
if I continued to pull you away, we wouldn't be here.
We would not.
We still do. We still do. We still do.
We still do after all this time at the altar. I alter my mind and vow to God I love you till he make his return. The rain should be the least of your concern. Under God's umbrella, I promise to provide and preserve his word and to serve your mind and spirit. Let me drive the boat. I promise I'ma steer it. The devil cannot get near it. You'll know this soon as you hear it. You need me, I need you. Even after the altar, we still do.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of We Still Do. We're your host. I'm Jermaine.
I'm Lena.
And whether you're single, married, or you've been in it for decades, We Still Do is for you.
Yes. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can watch more videos. We're grateful that you're here. We upload videos every Thursday. So like, subscribe, and share with someone who could use a little inspiration with what we're going to be discussing today.
Absolutely. So today, I feel is super cool because we're going to take you through our journey. I know y'all listen to us and y'all don't know, some of y'all at least don't know who we are.
Yeah.
Or even what our story looks like and how we got to where we are today. And so we just want to share that and just want to share some things that we've learned on the way that helped us be who we are as, you know, a married couple and what helps us be successful. So beware, we might have the same but different variations of this story.
There's always a his and her when it comes to how it all began.
Yeah.
But mine is going to be the most accurate. So just make sure you reference what I say.
Okay. Accuracy is a perspective, honestly. But anyways, so we just want to invite y'all into that. And so since you're the most accurate, I'll let you start and I'll fill in your holes.
Wow.
I'll fill
You don't
in
have
the
to say
gaps.
pause when you're talking about me, honey.
But we're on camera. Anyways,
bring
it back.
I am. So it began on a beautiful, warm, sunny day. It really did, though.
No, it's not a beautiful, warm. It's hot.
Okay, it is definitely hot
here.
where we're at. It was like 110. Okay, but real talk. When I first noticed you, because I don't know, you noticed me before I noticed you. So let's preference by saying that.
Okay,
right?
You ain't gotta just say it.
Okay. He was stalking me and he tried to crash this class that I was in. That's how it started. And you got invited to church.
I was not stalking you.
Okay. It's my turn. Let me tell my story.
Okay.
Let me tell my story.
All right.
You weren't stalking me, but you tried to get into this communications class that I was in. That was the first time you noticed me because my outfit was very vibrant and very loud.
I'll let you tell your side. You go ahead.
Okay. But the first time that I actually noticed you was in church. You came to church at Restoration and you sat next to me intentionally. So obviously you see me before.
Tell your side. You don't know any of this stuff yet.
Wait, this is my side of the story. This is the first time I interacted with you. We're sitting in church and our bishop says, turn to your neighbor and say whatever. You know how pastors do that a lot, actually. And I turned to you and said whatever, and that was that. That was the extent of me acknowledging or seeing you or whatever the case may be. And then one day I was at school and I heard my name from across what would that be considered? Across the campus. And I'm like, who is calling my name, right? Because I just be minding my business, you know what I'm saying?
Of
And
course.
yeah, no, seriously. And you ran across the grass to me. I don't know why, but you ran to me. And when you were talking to me, you were just telling me like, oh yeah, from church or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I wasn't rude or anything. And we were talking. I remember like asking you about your tattoos and you were showing me your tattoos. And that's the extent of that encounter. Fast forward to you continue to go to church after you laid eyes on me. And then the next time that I saw you, you were like literally yelling. You were demanding for my number. You like, Lena, give me your number. And I was just like, it wasn't really, you didn't give me the option to tell you no. I didn't appreciate that, by the way. And it was just like,
Do you
okay.
appreciate it now?
I do. I
Okay.
do. You're the best thing that
Continue.
happened to me.
Continue.
But you demanded for my number very literally. And so I gave you my number because I was scared. And no, I'm just kidding. But I gave you my number. And then that was the beginning for me. We started talking, but I let you know that I was doing the ladies in waiting, which is basically we were taking 6 months. We were going through this book, which is kind of like a Bible study, honestly. But we were going through this book and it was preparing us for marriage. It was called Knight in Shining Armor. Part of it in the beginning, it tells you take 6 months to focus on you and God alone, right? So you're not dating. If it's your brother in Christ, anybody you are remotely attracted to, we cut off all things. So you actually came to me during that time and I told you like, well, this is my end date, so we can't talk till then.
Okay.
And to the date you hit me up on that date and when it ended, and I think that was the first day we hung out. Obviously, we were both in college at the time, so you were living in a house with like several people. We went over and we hung out. I remember you tickling me, which you still do to this day. And that was our first interaction. But prior to that, although we weren't talking, you got me a rose and a card for my birthday because it didn't end in June and my birthday is May 7th. I remember like getting in my car and you like ran up to my car and you had a rose for me and a card, which was really, really thoughtful.
I don't know if I ran up that time.
You did, but I don't know how you knew when my birthday was. Maybe we discussed that. I'm not sure.
I don't
You were probably
know.
stalking me yet again on Facebook, actually.
Okay, stop.
I know. He wasn't stalking me, y'all.
Okay, so let me tell my side up until that point.
Okay, go ahead.
June of whatever year that was.
It was 2013, don't you? Whatever year that was.
June.
No. What was the exact date?
I don't have the exact date. Don't do that. It was June. Just remember June. I got the important dates. I got your
2013.
birthday. I got our anniversary. I got our kids' birthdays. That's all I need to know.
When did you first tell me you love me?
That's all I need to know. So
This is my favorite story, by the way. That's why I'm all giddy.
I know. So from my perspective, like I have to crash classes because as a football player, I need to have all these things. So
Yeah, get to me.
dang. Narcissist.
Not at all.
Just
out of
kidding.
here.
But so I have to crash these classes, and one of the classes is communication class because I need to take it. So I walk in, and I'm hoping the professor lets me in. So I go at the top, and I see you walk in, and you have these cheetah print. What were they? 1 inch, 2 inch?
Stiletto boots. I don't know how many inches. That's not. It's not
Okay,
important.
she had like stiletto 5-inch boots with pink on the bottom. And I remember she had the matching shirt. One side of her head was cut off. And she had
I was
twist
going
on
through
the other.
something.
She had, like, it was like the ugly stage dread twist.
You know when you grow your hair back after a big chop? He caught me right there.
No, you had
That
time.
is literally what it was.
You had time to think between the big chop and where you was. So anyways, I see her, and the first thing that came to mind was like, dang, like her style is crazy. Like
got your attention.
It did. Like your style is crazy. You came in, I think you had your shirt tucked in. You did the thing where you have one side in, one side out. But I remember that because it was different, especially where I come from in Florida. You clowned if you dressed like that.
Swear.
You
You never told
clowned.
me that. But it attracted you.
It wasn't
Anyways,
relevant.
continue.
So anyways, after that, fast forward to when I seen you across campus, I was running to you because for one, I knew you, but then I was going to football practice and I had like 3 minutes. So I think we going from the weight room to the field, and I remember seeing you, and so I ran up to you, said, "What's up? You from here?" Blah blah blah.
But you yelled my name. So it wasn't you. The
Cause I
church thing
cause I
happened
heard
first. So your story's already off. Because you knew
I'm
my name.
I'm just talking about at school.
Okay.
I ain't even
Continue.
talking about the church
But
thing. You didn't
remember what I
cover
told you
that.
about the accuracy.
You covered that.
Mm-hmm.
So at school, I
Uh-huh.
say your name, go over to you, and I wanted to introduce myself because I'm new in the city. You old in the city.
Wow. Old
And I just need
is
to like
wild.
I'm just trying to make friends. You
Mm.
know? So anyways,
You better watch your tone with that old.
so from there, we now let's backtrack to church.
Okay.
So now we go to church, we in church, and I see you. I sit next to you intentionally because I know you, like your style is crazy, but you're still cute. Like I'm like, dang, she cute. Like she it. And you were the only person in the row. And
It
then
was.
the way I got to church is I had a buddy who was invited by the praise and worship leader at the time
Mm.
to go to church.
Oh, yeah.
And we were already trying to figure out what church to go to. And so she invited him, and he said he didn't want to go by himself. So I'm like, bro, I've been trying to go to a church anyways. And the person that we were introduced or trying to go to church with before stood us up. So I got you. Like, let's do it. Just so happened you go to the same church. I'm not finna sit with him and the person who invited him. I'm finna sit in the row with you. So I didn't sit next to you, of course. I sat like 2 chairs down.
You did 2 chairs. Yeah, like 2 chairs.
2 chairs down. And
Such a gentleman.
yeah, like I want to give you your space. I don't want to be all up on you like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You didn't want to seem thirsty. Continue.
Because I wasn't. So when the situation happened where the pastors, said, turn to your neighbor and say blank, blank, blank.
Do you even remember what he said?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's irrelevant. Go
I
ahead.
don't. So I turned to you and I'm like, dang, this couldn't have been like a better introduction.
Mm.
And so I look at you with this big old grin on my face and I said what he said, and you looking at me and you had somewhat of the same smile, but your eyes were different. Like it was
Confused? No, I'm just kidding.
You had some look on your face that I ain't care about.
Mm.
And so I'm looking anyway. So from there, like I would see you every week at church and we would talk a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then, so it came a time where we were leaving from church, me and the person that I came with, because we had came with the person who invited him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they invited him, I'm like, dang, like I really want to get her number. Like, what should I do? Like, he was like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but we got to get out of here in a few minutes. So you better make it quick.
Do it now. Yeah.
So I went up to you and I was like, hey, Lena. And then you turn around and I didn't know how to ask it because it felt kind of weird because I'm like, dang, I gotta hurry up and ask it. I can't really think about it because I'm pressured. And so I was just like, give me your number.
Literally. Okay, it was accurate. Okay.
And you were like,
That's
okay, here you go.
No, it was not. I was like, I probably said something slick like, you mean, can you have my number?
I don't think you said it. I think you just like, oh, okay. Like you ain't make a big deal about it. I don't know if you felt my pressure. Anyways.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm texting you and now I'm trying to figure out like, okay, like I ain't gonna press. Like I know how to maneuver in the friend zone like I do. And
very strategic.
I was like, okay, well, how can I spend some time with her outside of not trying to come off as strong? And so I'm like, you know what? I know where she stay. She stayed by me.
That was all a part of your plan, huh? Wow. Very calculated. Continue.
Should I have not been? Of
Go
course
ahead.
I'm gonna be calculated. So anyways,
Continue.
so I just asked you and you was like, yeah, like I don't know if you said like this one time or like we're not gonna make this a thing or whatever, but I just remember I just kept asking, and you
For a
kept
ride to
taking.
church, because he didn't necessarily state that.
Yeah,
But
for a ride to
because we
church.
lived by each other and he was continuing to go to church, I don't know, were you going to church for me, or at that time? Were you going to church
Um,
because it's like, oh, she go here, I want to get to know her, or were you like actually trying to pursue
it
something with the
was
Lord?
it was twofold. The preaching was good,
Yeah,
and it was good to see
top
you.
tier.
It was good to see you. So,
Good to see you too,
okay, keep it PG, because you know where that can lead really
honey.
quick.
Okay. So
You ain't got 2 kids for nothing.
okay,
But anyway,
focus.
so
No, but seriously, wait, because you would ask me for rides. I have to say this. You would ask me for rides to church, and I would take you and your friend, and we would go and come back, whatever. But you would, like, your friend would get out the car and you would literally sit in my car. And I'd
mhm,
be like, okay, because I didn't want to be rude, like, bruh. But we would just be talking, and you would
mhm.
start talking to me. Now, mind you, this is happening after my 6 months. But when that started happening, you would,
Yeah, you gotta let me finish, because I still got to get to the 6 months. So
oh,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you. I'll
Oh,
let
okay,
you say
you're
no,
not
no,
there
no.
yet. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, I'll
Because you
finish.
added in the next part.
I did. So it was time to go home, and our like like we go home for summer,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was supposed to go home. Your thing was over in June.
Yeah.
I think I was supposed to go home like May 4th or something like that. Like May.
No, we were in June.
No, when I was supposed to go home,
Oh, okay.
when I was supposed to go back to
Oh,
Florida,
got you.
it was
Okay.
either early May or mid May,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I had to stay at least a week or two until the June date came around. So yeah, I would say about mid May. And so it was like it was hard, because no, everybody's gone, like all my teammates, everybody, like they, what I'm saying, went back to their homes, and I stayed. Um
Just to hang out with little old me.
yeah, like we had a great time, and I mean it was all she wrote from there. Then,
And the rest is history. And here we are, married with 2 kids.
definitely not rest is history, because we got a whole part that we need to talk about.
Yes, we do. So,
Um
but then from there, it was the car. Share how you were strategically in the friend zone, though, because you played it real good.
yeah,
Like,
so
you had done this before, actually.
yeah, so um when it came to spending time with you, like I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a press, because like I didn't want to make a move and destroy the friendship.
Yeah.
So for me,
Was it out of fear, or was it strategic?
it was strategic.
Okay.
Like I would say it was more strategic, but there was a little bit of fear, because if I tell you like, "Hey, I like you. I want to make this a thing," then there's the chance now of like ending this type of friendship that we got. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can hold off, you know what I'm saying? Until I feel like the reciprocation, like I'm cool.
Okay.
And so I started to feel that reciprocation, I think, closer to the end of that year.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
that's where we started to spend time outside of just, going to church and dropping us off.
Yeah.
Going to church and going back.
So about 6 months in, yeah.
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 So I started to feel that. And so I started to flirt a little bit more. I started to make it a little bit more known.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember you took me to the airport in December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
That was really,
bruh, I would stop. I know dates, bruh. Stop playing with me.
it was December what?
It was December 2013.
No, it was, okay. Go ahead. Anyways.
2013.
We literally have bracelets made with the date engraved.
You're right. And I still got it, because I might not remember the exact date. But anyways, stay focused here. You're getting off on the wrong details.
I'm gonna see if we can insert that right there, the
Stop.
bracelets we have,
So
they can know the date since you don't.
okay, so December 13th, and this is one of your favorite days.
It
So
is.
I'll let you kind of start it off.
Okay, but he's leaving out a lot. Okay, so yes, all that. Yes, yes, and yes. But also, I think worth noting is like during that time we was going to church and doing all that, and you played the friend zone very well. I had no idea you wanted anything more.
Mhm.
We would go to Denny's, we would go to the movies, but we were literally just hanging out as friends. I specifically told you we were associates, like not even friends. And
Mhm.
so we were building something. Obviously, I didn't know it at the time, but it was like a genuine friendship where we just enjoyed being around each other.
Mhm.
Fast forward to 6 months in, where you needed a ride to LA, which is like wild. And I drove you to LA and we went to Hollywood. You had never been on Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm like, okay, let me show you. Cause you know, LA's my town. And
This is where we should insert pictures.
oh yeah,
I
we do
got
have,
you.
we have
Yep.
pictures. Yeah, for sure.
Because you had braces and you
We
had your...
we both have braces.
By this time, this is where your hair is like right here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure it was. Yeah, it was growing back. See, it was growing back. And I remember on the way to LA, like you were talking to me and you told me that you loved me, like you were in love with me. And it was like, I love you too. You know, it was like this feeling that I knew that I had, that I felt, but I don't know. So from there, it kind of took off because we were on Hollywood. Remember, we were just friends. Like literally, you were playing the friend zone until that moment where you tell me you went straight deep in, right? You're like, oh, I'm in love with you or whatever. I tell you I love you too. We had the most amazing time on Hollywood Boulevard. We're holding hands like a full-blown couple. We got the bracelets made with the dates. And it was just this amazing time getting souvenirs for your parents and stuff. It was like a really, really good time. But then when you were getting ready to get on the plane, is that when I cried? That's also when we first kissed, no? Because we went to Santa Monica Beach, right? We went to Hollywood Boulevard, then Santa Monica Beach, and we were standing. Oh, we actually, fun fact, took one of our marriage photos after we got married. We got married on the cliffs across the street from Santa Monica Beach, and we took a picture where we first kissed, which was really special. But anyways, we shared our first kiss there. And I remember when it was time to actually take you to the airport, I like cried. I didn't want you to leave. It was so sad. It was the best day ever.
It was fun. And that was kind of, it was hard, but it was also a good feeling too for me.
Really?
Because, you know, you've been acting every which way, you know what I'm saying, associate, like making me the associate.
Oh yeah, I let that be known. You didn't really know how I felt.
But then, you know, telling me that you love me, like that was a good feeling. So going back was hard, but like coming back was like, okay, I got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then you took me on this 3-4 year journey.
Wild ride.
Of...
Did I ever say how sorry I am?
Don't be sorry.
How much I love you.
Because I got what I want. Don't be sorry. Listen. So anyways, before we go into that, okay, so
that journey
just through the 3 or 4 years, I remember sharing that, like sharing, like, you know, I love you, and I'm like, okay, like I'm like looking forward to coming back and all the things, and then you hit me with that, nah. And I'll let you go into that because you
was it the nah? From there, I remember you came on like pretty strong. I loved you, no doubt. There was no denying that. But I remember you telling me specific. We had a conversation and you told me that I was your wife. And I was like, the Lord didn't tell me that. You know, like the Lord didn't tell me that. He gonna have to tell me too, you know. I even asked you like, how did you know? And you were like, I just know. And one thing that I find funny is that they say when a man knows what he wants, like he knows and he goes after it. And I find that to be very true in our story because you just knew. You knew. And I didn't see what you saw, especially then at that time. But I think there was so much confusion. There was a few things. There was one, I had a lot of fear of making the wrong decision when it comes to marriage because I know, like, this is one of the greatest decisions outside of Jesus that you will make in your life. And so there was a lot of fear of making the wrong decision. I had this mindset that there's just this one person for me, and I don't want to marry the wrong person because of what that could, the chaos or the hell or heaven that it could create in my life. And so I was very fearful of that because I didn't have an example of what that looks like. I didn't know what a healthy marriage was or what it, you know, all you hear about is the divorce. And so that was really, I think it was a lot of fear there. There was also a lot of indecisiveness and there was a lot of confusion because other people had dreams and were telling me that someone else was my husband.
When he Hispanic or something like that?
No, my niece had a dream that I was going to marry a Jew. It's funny because it was different dreams. She had a dream that someone else was telling me.
Julian.
Okay.
Julian. Hey, you put my niece on the spot?
No, I think it was her who had a dream. Anyway, he wasn't black. And you are tall, dark, and handsome. Just like it. But anyways, So I think there was a lot of confusion there for years because they were pointing me in a different direction. And
Mhm.
we had this thing where we were still hanging out. I was still giving rides. Then you got your own car. We would still hang out and stuff. But it wasn't like we were exclusively dating or anything like that. During this 3 years, I think we were together once for like 2 weeks and I was like, nah. And I really do think a lot of it was fear. And it took me a while to get my act together. But during that time, greatest transformation, you give your heart to the Lord because I had told you, like, you, based on your lifestyle, was like, nah, that's not what I'm wanting. You turn your life around for the Lord, though. It wasn't for me. Initially, you started coming, it was maybe a little bit of both, twofold, but you did it for you and the Lord. And you
Mhm.
started ushering and like doing all the things in the church, getting involved, but you started hanging around married people, married
Yeah.
men more specifically.
Yeah. The reason I got around married men is because, one, I wanted to be married, but two, like, I needed people to talk to.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I feel so strongly for you, and I don't have nobody that I felt can relate to me at the time.
mm,
And so, like, I'm talking to these men, and it was men at the church. It was like, when I got involved with cleaning the church, and when I got involved with different aspects of the church, it's like I'm around these men who are serious about marriage as well. And so they kind of helping me navigate some of the turmoil, you know what I'm saying? And through that, it's like, man, like, Lord, I just wanna be in a space to where I'm not so pulled by what I feel because of this woman.
mm.
You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? Like, I don't wanna be in this space where, okay, we good, then I'm good. If we're not
Mhm.
good, I'm not good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I put you through the ringer.
you did. And
Yeah.
then I got, like, eventually, like, after the transformation that you were talking about, like, and I'm taking my relationship with Christ serious, like, you still weren't sure.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point where it's like, I think I remember vividly, and we got to get into the details, but I
Mhm.
remember wanting to be your Valentine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you was like, I'm thinking about this other person being my Valentine.
Gosh, this sounds so horrible. Yes.
I was like, you got me messed up. And from that moment, my
You were
whole
cold.
my whole my whole heart, everything, like, it
Yeah.
just went, like, it went Antarctica. Like,
Yeah.
it was
You were very
cold.
cold toward me. I remember seeing you specifically because you would hold the offering bucket and going up to you and like you wouldn't even look at me. Like you were so cold. And that affected me in a way that I was like, dang, I had never seen you like that. But I remember the conversation. We were at the church and you got in my car and we were talking and you were like, look, I'm going to be somebody's husband. If it's not you, like I'm going to be somebody's husband, you know?
Mhm.
I'm hanging around married men. I'm doing the work like to become the husband I know I'm called to be. And if it ain't you, it's going to be somebody. And it was just like, oh, okay. Like he not playing no games, you know? But I think through all the journey, what it taught me, the way that you loved me, I had never experienced before.
Mhm.
And you had this relentless pursuit of me. Like no matter what I said or no matter what was going on or no matter how indecisive, you were so sure and like let it be known that you loved me. Like it was known in our church that you wanted me. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And that you loved me and it was like, "Oh my goodness, I've never had anyone pursue me that way." And to this day, like your love reminds me so much of Christ because it's like, dang, like you were just relentless in your pursuit of me. And so I think that spoke volumes to me. But when I
But
came to my
what happened? No, 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 don't skip that.
what?
When you're about to come to your
Oh my
senses,
gosh.
like, take us through that, because that's one of the favorite parts of our story somewhat.
It's not the favorite part.
It's
Okay.
not, it's not.
So
I'm joking,
I
but
had heard someone say, like, basically become best friends with someone. And then when you realize you can't live your life without them, marry them, right? And in this moment, I'm at work, I'm on the bathroom floor, and I'm Marco Polo and my best friend Rochelle, shout out to her. And I was just crying and I was telling her, like, I don't want to live without him. Like, I can't imagine. At this point, we weren't talking, right? Because you went
were
really
you between
cold.
the tub in the toilet or the toilet in the sink? That make a difference.
The door and the sink on the wall.
Okay. All right.
You so petty. He loves to tell people this. But she was crying over me. But anyways, I was crying because at that moment I realized, like, man, it don't matter who it is or what they have to offer. They will never be you. And I realized I don't want to live my life without this man.
Yeah,
Like,
and
oh my goodness, that's my best
The
friend.
reason why that's one of my favorite parts in the story is not because you're on the ground crying, but it was like if that moment didn't happen, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because it's
Had to be the Lord.
like it doesn't matter how much I've transformed. It doesn't matter how relentless my pursuit was. At the end of the day, you had to come to a decision to say,
Yes.
like, I want this relationship too.
Yeah. And up until this point, like, you would want to do counseling, like, let's get mediator, let's get outside. And I was never for it because I'm like, that's a serious step. And I don't know that I'm there yet. But in the moment where I had that realization, you were still cold, but I told you, like, let's do counseling. And we went to counseling. And from there, things did move progressively quick. I think we started in January seeing counseling. You came around, you had to warm up to me all over again. It wasn't like, it was cold.
Yeah.
But we did counseling. You asked me to be your girlfriend on 420. Don't ask me. I guess you was high on my love. You asked me to be your girlfriend on 420. You asked me to be your wife on July 1st. And then on September 8th, 2017, we got married. So it was like boom, 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 boom. Like and the way the wedding happened and like so much of it was covered and people were giving and it was no denying the hand of the Lord was on our union. Granted, I don't know that there's just one person for, like, if I wasn't going to marry you, then everybody's, life would have been thrown off. Maybe not, right? But you cannot tell me, I don't care what you say, that you were not predestined to be my husband. Like, God did not have us in mind when he brought us together. I'm serious. Like, the hand of the Lord has been on our marriage and our experience in marriage and the grace that he has given us. And I know it's for a greater purpose, but it was so messy to get to this point of enjoyment. And so a lot of times people experience a lot of the rough patches in marriage. I feel like we experienced it before marriage because it was messy. I also think it's worth noting because people think like, oh, I don't want you to think like, oh, this is perfect love story, right? Well, you probably don't think that after all the hiccups I just shared. But I think it's also worth mentioning that we did have sex before marriage. And we slipped up. And I think it happened maybe 3 times, different occasions, gaps in between over this course of the 4 years. And it was probably 2 years into it. It wasn't nothing that happened. I'm not easy. It wasn't anything that happened early on. But the point is, that was part of the hesitation because I was like, God, whoever I marry has to draw me closer to you. They have to point me in the direction of you. This is not it. This is sin. This pulls me away from God. So clearly you can't be it, So it was all these reasons that I was disqualifying you as the one because of our sinful nature and our sinful behaviors of what we were doing. And so I would push away in those moments because of my conviction. And so then we would come back around because there is just always something pulling me back to you. And then we would come back around and then let's say we slip up again and then I would draw back like, like God surely can't be in this because in my mind, I'm a hopeless romantic. I had this idea of what this perfect love story of the Lord would look like. I remember watching people's that were married and hearing their stories and like they waited to kiss and like just staying pure and holy. And so I had this idea in my head that I feel like the Lord had to shatter of what it should have looked like. And it was not that. It was messy. Things that I said would never, they were. And it's like, oh my gosh. But it is our story. And I think that's what makes it my favorite because I would do it all over again if it led us to where we are today. It's been a beautiful, messy journey.
Yeah. But I think even if it was the Lord's predestined will, if there was no willingness on both people, if there was no change on my part, if I continued to pull you away, we wouldn't be here.
We would not.
Because if, for example, if it's his will for us to be married and I'm doing something that's outside of his will for us before marriage, that causes confusion and makes it cloudy to know is this God's will or not?
Which was part of
Because
it.
that's what like sin does. Like sin makes it very difficult to walk in the will of God. And that's why we have to work so hard, you know what I'm saying, to live in this purified place. You know what I'm saying? Like this sanctification process that we're called to as believers
Mm-hmm.
is very difficult. And it's like a constant dying to yourself every day. It's a
Constantly.
constant carrying your cross every day. It's a constant, like his mercies, you know what I'm saying? Like following it. Like it's like all of this stuff is needed. And so for us, if there was no transformation and this seriousness about both walking to the same place,
Yeah.
same direction, like
Equally yoked.
we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk about something that is near to our heart.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about it in this type of setting before.
I
So
don't
this
think
is
ever.
a first. This is
Yeah.
a first. But as we were just talking about it, we feel that this can help somebody.
Yeah.
We don't know who it'll help. We don't know who life it'll change, but we hoping that through this, God will help somebody. And really, we just want to share our story about us as parents and what that journey has been like for us. So, I'll just let you start it off. I'll just kind of let you kick start it, and I'll just kind of fill in the blanks.
Okay. Why you think you got to fill in the blanks? I'm very detailed, by the way.
It's either fill in the blanks or shooting blanks. And so
Okay.
what you
Wow.
want? What you want? You
Wow.
let me know.
Okay. In this episode, we're gonna have like a censor for you.
Parenting.
We're talking about parenting.
Okay.
Yes. So our journey to get to parenting was a little bit different. I know that we talked in our planning. I don't know if it's me or you, but anyways, I'm a planner. If you guys didn't know that, I'm a planner. I love to plan and, events and certain things. And
Very much so.
thanks. But we talked and we said when we got married, we wanted to wait 2 years to have kids.
Mhm.
Well, just so happened that when that time came, and we were actually ready to start trying to have kids, my body was like hemorrhaging, like bleeding out of nowhere for a long time. My body just kind of went haywire, but it took us 6 months to conceive our son,
Yeah.
Jaden,
Mhm.
and he was
at the recording of this podcast, he is 4,
he's 4.
about to be 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Lord is so faithful and he's very strategic.
Mhm.
His timing is definitely divine. And I had actually received a prophetic word that the calendar for the month of May was going to shift and going to change. And it was going to bring me so much joy. I've had a lot of loss in that month.
Mhm.
And sure enough, Jaden was born May 26, 2020, y'all. Middle of the pandemic. The world shut down in March.
Yeah,
2 months later.
Right at the start, yeah.
Yeah, 2 months later, we had our son, Jaden. And I think we were just excited. We weren't really particular about boy or girl. We just knew, we wanted a healthy baby. And he was healthy. He hesitated to come out a little bit, but he was healthy. So praise God for that. And I don't know. Do we just jump right in? But
Jump in where you feel like you need to go.
Yeah. So we had Jaden, thriving, healthy baby as a first-time mom. You don't know first-time parents, but for me as a first-time mom, not really having that blueprint is like trying to figure it out, right? So I feel like there's so many resources out there that it can kind of be overwhelming of like, what do you actually follow when it comes to parenting? And so through trial and error, lots of prayer and the Holy Spirit. But I thought like for milestones and stuff, we had the Love Every Kid. If you've ever heard about that, it's like developmentally toys sent to your doorstep every 3 months and made sure that he was learning the skills that he should be learning and the time frame, age appropriately, developmentally. And so I did everything I knew to do as a first time parent to ensure that he was developing as he should. And it seemed like he had no concerns. And lo and behold, I started seeing certain things. I didn't really think much of it, But my best friend, I remember he would spin things like this in his hand. Everything you would give him, and he would just do this.
Mhm.
And he was 1 years old at the time, and she was like, "I've never seen a kid do that before." Well, at this time, my best friend already had 3 kids, so I'm like, "Wait a minute! If you've never
Yeah.
seen this before, then maybe this is something we should bring up to his pediatrician," in which we did. And the pediatrician was just more so like, because of the pandemic, that's why he's not speaking. People are wearing masks, so boys are delayed. Girls run circles around boys. Maybe that's why he's not
Mhm.
speaking, because that was also a concern. Some of the things he just wasn't really concerned with some of the things that we brought up in our doctor's appointments. And he was 2.5, still wasn't really talking much. I think after his second birthday, he started to really, develop some language, some form of language, but he still had the stimming going on. And we took him to CVRC here locally, which basically we had him evaluated to see where he was developmentally. And to our surprise, he was in certain areas, he was good, in certain areas, he wasn't. But
Yeah.
overall, I think he was developmentally delayed, is what
Mhm.
they told us.
Yep.
And so we leaned into early intervention to get him the help so that he could thrive. And people start coming to the house. And it just started this very long journey.
So basically, what my wife is getting at is that we found out our son is autistic,
Yes.
and when you see, as a parent, naturally you kind of compare your kid to other kids. You see where they are, you see where those kids are, and start making comparisons. But the comparisons that we seen were, um, it was significant.
Yeah.
And so, once we got the diagnosis of him being autistic, it was, I don't know, you just kind of fall in this space of confusion, questions, um, and I
Grief.
just and I just remember, yeah, especially grief,
Yeah.
because I remember as a dad, I remember seeing like some of my other friends who had kids before me, when they're talking about like, their child, kind of following in their footsteps, and just doing all the things that they used to do,
Mhm.
like, for example, for me, like I couldn't wait to see my son in football.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't wait to see him throwing the pads. I couldn't wait to, what I'm saying, coach him and things like that. But I remember just having these questions in my head, like what does this mean for me? Like what does this mean for our family? What does this mean for my son? Like I want him to be able to play sports. I want him to be able to find love. I want
Yeah.
him to be able to like communicate and just talk and share and interact. And so I just had so many questions, and it was very, very frustrating because now, and I don't know if this is kind of how it was for you starting off, but just like, is it because of something I did? Is it
Yeah.
because of like my family? Like I've never heard of anybody at the time. I've never heard of anybody at the time in my family having kids with autism.
Mhm.
And so it's like my first time hearing about it. And so it was just rough. It was frustrating. And so that shifted our family.
Yeah. It definitely did. I think initially, um, when we first found out, like, although they were saying like there was some signs, and it was kind of like it's kind of hard to tell, because some could just be developmentally doing things that they outgrow for that age, and then some could actually be signs of actual autism. And so for me, I was like, okay, developmentally delayed, okay, I could see that maybe, but I'd not once thought like, okay, he actually has autism. And I don't know if it was just me in denial of that possibility, but it hit me like a ton of bricks when it actually happened, where we received the diagnosis, and it was just like, oh wow, like this is our reality. What does that mean? What will life look like? And there was this grief that I felt. And a lot of times people will say it's a diagnosis, but it's not a death sentence. But you have this idea of what your life is going to look like for your son.
Hmm.
So, in a sense, there is a death that you experience and a real
Absolutely.
grief that you experience for this life
Absolutely.
you thought your child could have. And then you go back to okay, what does that mean? Will he be with us forever? Is he gonna be able to get married? Or like, you know what I mean? You just all these things are
All the
with
questions,
kids
yeah.
are already cruel. And what does that mean for school? And all the things come flooding your mind. And there's nowhere to really go or turn to like really get actual clarity or answers. Like there is no cure, as they say. There is no reason. Like they don't know why. There's all these, you know, kind of speculations of why and how, but there's no answers to what caused this. And I remember the Lord giving me the scripture, and it was basically um John 9. And let me tell you what it is exactly. John 9:3.
Mhm.
Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him." And I remember when he gave that scripture to me, and later you tell me he gave you the same
Mhm.
scripture. Tell your side of it when the Lord gave you that scripture.
Man, I was just like, I don't know, it was a time where I really like was having like those questions that don't have any answers. Like
Yeah.
I'm really wondering like God, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like we prayed for him to be healthy. We prayed for him to be
Daily.
all the things, and it was like he has autism. Like what is this? You know what I'm saying? And like I remember, just being honest, like as a parent, there were times I would get like frustrated, and it's like he doesn't understand like what part of it is it him being a child and what part is autism, and it's like you don't know.
Yeah.
And I just remember, um, I remember you said you got it, but then it completely like went out of my mind. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember later, I just remember reading John chapter 9, and literally like his disciples was like, who sinned? Was it this man or his parents?
Yeah.
And
He was
then
born blind, was it? Wasn't he? Was he blind?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
The
what I'm
boy.
saying, like, was it him or his parents? And it was like, no, like this was neither of them. This was done so that the work of God may be displayed
The glory
through
of
him.
God would be revealed. Yeah.
Yeah, the glory of God would be revealed. And it was like, okay, that shifted my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because it took me from, okay, what's wrong with my kid? It took me to, okay, my kid is not a burden. My kid is not a problem.
Right.
My kid is just another vessel for the glory of God to go
Yeah.
through another human.
Yeah.
What that looks like will look different, just as it will look different from how he would get glory from your life and from my life.
Right.
And so that really shifted my perspective of like, okay, my kid is not a problem. Like, yeah, he has some, he's delayed developmentally in some areas, but God's glory is going to be shown through that. My job is to see how, and then I believe it's verse 4. Let me make sure I got the right scripture.
Right after that one?
I believe it is. Like he goes on and talks about like their responsibility. Um, and then it says like, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. And just without doing like an exegetical study on it, like eisegetically, like reading that, it's like, okay, as a parent, like, what am I doing? What are the works that I'm doing to ensure that I'm setting my son up so that, you know, he can be successful? Like, what are we doing as parents to ensure that he is growing? Like, because we can't, and this is something I learned, like, we can't manipulate growth. Like, we can be intentional about growth. You know what I'm saying? The same way, like, we can't, like, how am I trying to say it? Like, I want my son to be successful. So what are we doing as parents to do that? And so that shifted my perspective on like what is the issue with my son, and seeing my son as an issue to okay, how can I set my son up so that the glory of God may be displayed through him? And that's been my focus. And I think with that, that shifted me to have an empathetic heart and not necessarily um seeing a problem into him, but seeing what are his strengths and trying to draw those out more.
Mm,
And so I think for me that just kind of that scripture shifted my perspective.
yeah. I think for me it was like a reassurance because of course the first thing you want to think is like, okay, what did I do? What could I have done different? Was it something I ate, or just as a parent, like I said, as a first time parent, you do everything you know to do or that you're reading and researching to do. And it's like, okay, it kind of quieted the thoughts of like, no, this is so that my glory could be revealed. It had nothing to do, neither one of you sinned. And so I think it was the comfort I needed, especially in my time of grief, of like, what is this gonna look like? What is it gonna mean? Whatever it looks like, God will be glorified. And so understanding that truth, I can now stand on it. And it took my sorrow. It turned my sorrow, my mourning into joy,
Hmm.
literally to shift my perspective and walking this out and understanding that God didn't make a mistake. We're the perfect parents for him. He's the perfect son for us.
Hmm.
And that he has given us a grace. There's a measure of grace that he gives us for our assignment.
Hmm.
And being a parent is one of the greatest calls. And I believe that he has equipped us with what we need to parent. And in this journey, of course, it has come with its challenges and its rewards, especially on our faith journey. And I think it rocked my faith a little bit initially. I didn't know. You hear about miracle signs and wonders, and it's like, okay, God, do I believe you for a miracle for my son, or do I kind of accept this diagnosis? And so when it came to my faith, it was like I didn't know my stance,
Hmm.
and I actually got along with the Lord. Um, his godmother actually got me a hotel. I found out 2 days after my birthday, and it was going into Mother's Day weekend. So
Hmm.
it's actually, yeah. Anyways, when you think about that, the reminder of that. But anyways, I got along with God and just prayed, like, what is my stance? I had to get alone to quiet out the noise and just be alone with him. And, what do I do with this?
Hmm.
And so I think that was really helpful for me. But, what made it, I guess, a bit more something that was hard for me to accept was because he was prophesied. I had the word of the Lord. This was our promised child. Not only promised child, even to the point of conception, but even before he was conceived, there was already words about what he would do in the kingdom and for the Lord. And so what's amazing is even though you have those words, the reason why you get a prophetic word is because there's going to be a time where you need to remind yourself of that, right? And then you have the word and then you have to walk it out. There's a process. And so in the process, I didn't see autism as a part of that. But in as this journey that the Lord has graced us to be on with walking that out, it doesn't mean that the promise has changed.
Hmm.
It's just this is a part of the journey. So I do believe that God still will be glorified in this and in his story. And I think that's probably part of why we're even
Yeah.
sharing it, because it's definitely one that's uh I don't know, it's just a emotional topic for me when it comes to,
Hmm.
it's our baby. And
Yeah.
so
What
yeah.
what what makes it emotional for you?
Um I don't know. I don't know. It's such a sensitive topic. I just reliving the moments of just how it shook me and all the thoughts and just the doubt or the confusion, or I don't it's something that's near, like it's our baby. So I don't know, it's just so close to my heart, and it's something that I haven't, like, me and you've had those conversations. I've shared, maybe, with a few people, but it's not something that we have publicly discussed much at all.
Hmm.
I don't even think a lot of people even knew that our son was autistic, and it's not because there's any shame there. It just wasn't like, coming out announcement, our son has autism. It wasn't like I was wanting to build a platform around this diagnosis. Basically, I didn't want the autism to define him.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of been my approach to it. But I also loved your approach because you have like read the books and researched and all the things so that you can better understand him with where he is. Whereas my perspective has been more so of, okay, I'm not going to let this define you. And so I'm not going to treat you any differently. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been kind of like this balance. And I think that's kind of how we complement each other on this journey.
I don't know if I shared this with you, but at one point, I did wonder how our different approaches was going to affect our marriage.
Really? No.
Yeah, because like your approach is like I'm believing God to not have this anymore, but I'm gonna still love you the same. For me, my approach was like never on like, okay, him not having this, it's how can I love him and set him up to be successful with his development. And but yeah, I think when it comes to how we complement each other, I think it's just a matter of being on the same page with we're gonna love him no matter what. And because we're both gonna love him, we're both also committed to each other. So the difficulty that, autism does pose on a marriage, as far as us, we still don't see that as something that is not our problem. Like we see that as like this is our responsibility. Like we are the parents for him. If anybody's going to love him, it's going to be us. Like when we have to sit at night by his door because he doesn't want to be there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't want to be there by himself. Or when there's times where he's tantruming, whether that's in public, whether that's at home,
Mhm.
like, we still find ways to make it work for us. And I think what also is kind of difficult is just because a lot of people don't understand autism, it leaves the parents to carry the burden alone. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a support system, but there's not many in our circle who understand it like we understand it or have the capacity to put up with it. So like going on like long trips, long vacations, like it's limited.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because we have to be here. Like we want to be here, but we also want time to ourselves. Like I think we're fortunate enough to have help.
Yeah.
Not many people have that.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
I can't imagine because I get the privilege to be home with our babies. You know, since birth, I've worked from home. Obviously, I've worked outside the home too, but I've been able to be home with them, and so I can imagine just the days where it's hard, long days, overstimulating, because that's a thing. Touched out, that's a thing, and to not have support, help, a break, a mental break, or anything,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think anyone would fold under that kind of pressure and that kind of weight if you have like no outlet at all. Um, my heart goes out to parents that are doing it solo, where maybe they were married and now they're found themselves as a solo parent, or maybe they were a single parent to begin with, and that's been their journey. It is so hard. Even in us being married, it's still a lonely journey because of those reasons where for one, you're the only one that's navigating in terms of our circle, a neurodivergent child.
Mhm.
And then you have people that will just don't know how to interact with your child because of this diagnosis
Yeah.
where they're not even treated like an actual human,
Yeah.
and the frustration that comes with that as a parent, when obviously people don't understand or know how to engage. So the amount of people we let watch them is very limited to like not even one hand. We have like one, our sister is the consistent person that actually watches our child, our children.
Shout out to you, big dog.
Yes, shout out
Big
to
dog
you.
Ebony.
So just thinking of that, just the weight that comes with it can be a lot. And I can see how couples would be like, okay, there would be this turmoil, this tension, this friction, no alone time, no time to connect. The child becomes the center of your world,
Yeah.
you know? And
Because they need 24 care.
yeah, they do.
I love how the person who developed the concept of neurodiversity, I love how that helped me change my perspective, because now, like, it's not we're seeing autism from a DSM-5 diagnosis, which is like they call it like the
He's talking
clinical,
therapy
yeah.
to y'all right now.
It's like the Bible of or mental illnesses, basically, is how it's referenced. But neurodiversity basically says there's a natural deviation, there's a natural difference in everybody's brain. Like, we all are different. All of our brains work different, and it's no different from an autistic person. And I love that because it came from an autistic person. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that helped me, because it's like, you know what? Like, when Jaden was what, 2 or 2.5 or something like that, maybe even 3, like, he was counting to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So like, he's
for sure.
counting to 1,000, but his language isn't as developed.
Reading at 3 years old.
Or he's reading books, he knows words, like,
He's brilliant mind.
but he's not as social. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, that makes sense. Like, his brain just functions differently. Like, he sees and he understands differently.
Yeah.
And so, like, just understanding that really, really helped me. And I'm just thinking, like, man, I think, like, you get frustrated when you think about people treating him different or not knowing how to interact with them. You can touch my feet, it's okay. But I think what frustrates me is, like, man, you won't get to know the type of person he is.
Yeah. He's
You won't get to
amazing.
know how cool, how brilliant he is,
Yeah.
like, how awesome he is, like, how kind he is, like, how giving and how loving he is. Like,
So loving,
you won't
yeah.
get to experience that. And I think that hurts me, because when we talk about how cruel the world is, like, it's an interaction like that can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interaction with somebody who's like, I remember you had a showing in Lancaster, and I remember while you were there, me and the kids went to the park, and there was this little girl who just was just crying, and she just wouldn't stop, and her mom didn't really know what to do. Like, the mom sitting on the bench, the little girl sitting on the ground, and I remember we were probably like 20 yards away from the little girl, and I remember, like, the crying caught Jaden's attention, and he just bolted over by this little girl, like, don't know her, like, just literally sat in front of her until she stopped crying. And when she stopped crying, he got up and just jollied his way on back over where me and his sister was.
He's very empathetic.
And it's like, you won't get to experience that because you won't lean into the uncomfortability.
The uncomfortability.
And it makes me think of the parents who walk out on their kids. Like, you won't get to experience that because you won't lean into the uncomfortability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You said a lot, but I think that more than anything, I think it's the frustration of one just treating him like, you know, I don't know what to do with you kind of thing. But it's also what you said of just like, he's so amazing and he's such a joy. He's such a light. And I honestly just think you're missing out on being able to experience him in that way. And it makes me more grateful for the people that are willing to get down on his level and engage and interact with him too, you know? It has had its challenges, but it's also had its rewards. I think it has taught us patience for sure. And it has taught us, I think it has made us a greater team in parenting, for sure.
It was going to make us greater or worse?
Yeah, for sure. For better or worse. And I believe that it has helped me to find my voice in advocating for him and having to speak up for him. And for sure, it has helped me to find my voice. It has revealed things in my own heart, like generational things or patterns that was taught to me that I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? You know, that I've had to come face to face with myself with some things. That's like, okay, yeah, no, we can't parent this way. You know, it has drew me closer to the Lord in terms of this reliance on him and the Holy Spirit to help in the moments where he's crying and I just can't comfort him or like nothing's working. I don't know what to do. It has really strengthened my walk with the Lord and my faith really to believe him beyond what we're looking at when it comes to this diagnosis and to change my view of him. For you, I know
It's very, very hard. You know, like,
it's one of the I've lost a lot of loved ones, and obviously I say this with all respect and honor to them. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Harder than any loss, or because when someone passes away, there's this grief that you feel because they're gone, but to grieve, our son who's here. I
mhm,
didn't grieve. I don't grieve him now, but in the moment where you receive the diagnosis, to grieve your actual child
yeah,
and your thought or your picture or your expectation for their life, it was completely different. And even walking this journey to today is still one of the hardest things that I've had to do. One of the hardest things that I've been privileged to do, because I know all good things come from the Lord and He is our gift and children are the reward.
yeah,
And I am so extremely thankful. You were talking about, like, sometimes when the child is nonverbal, I believe that there's so many different ways that kids are communicating with us if we slow down to pay attention,
great point.
because it's the body language. The behaviors is actually a form of communication. They are saying something to you.
Mhm,
And so it's just understanding them and meeting them where they are. There's been times where he would just come up and give me a hug or a kiss, and that's a form of love, right? And
doing
affection.
what you need at the right time.
Yeah, exactly what you need. And so, yeah, you don't realize that God knew exactly what we needed when He
Yeah,
birthed our son to us, and also what He needed. And I believe that it's strengthening us all,
yeah.
us all. But
We but we just want to encourage anybody out there, like, if you feel like you are going through something that's very difficult, lean on your partner.
yeah.
Like, do this together. Like, team is how you get through. Team is how you endure. Team is how you start to build
Yeah.
uh strength to continue walking. Like, when you feel like you don't have enough, when you feel like you don't have anything at all, like, for the couples, you have to lean on one another. That's the only way it's going to work, because once your partner feels like they're doing it by themselves, like, you're either going to have resentment,
Bills this wage.
they're either going to break,
Yeah.
but you need to do it together. And that's really what we want you to take from this. Like from us to you, like, autism has been um a challenge for us, but it also has allowed us to grow closer. Like, parenting our son is revealed our weak areas. It's revealed where we need to grow. It's revealed where we're strong at. It revealed where, what I'm saying, we want to go, in our with our family. And regardless of whatever is to come, our kids are going to know that we love them, and we're going to make sure that we stay a united front regardless. So whatever you're going through, go through it together. Like, I know men, we can be problem solvers. I know that we can just want to fix it. Sometimes they don't need fixing. They just need an ear. They just need you
A
to
hug.
understand and hear them out. They need a hug. Like, I remember several times my wife is crying and telling me what's going on with her. I ain't got no words. Like, I legit wanna fix it and tell her what I feel she would need to hear to be better. And in my brain, I'm just like, well, shoot, I ain't got nothing, so let me just give her a hug. Not understanding that that was exactly what she needed.
Yeah.
So we just want you to know, like, do it together. Be united. And we don't have a marriage emotion for you this week. We just want you to be a united front and realize that you're stronger together, and that it's not just her problem, my problem, or your spouse's problem, or the other, or, like, it's your problem together. It's your marriage. Like, both of you tackle this thing head on. Like, if you do it together, you'll get through it together. So, I mean, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, as always, we wanted to be a little vulnerable with you, but
Yeah.
if you feel like this is helpful for somebody, a parent who might have an autistic child or somebody who's struggling, share it with them. We need each other to grow. And as always, like, subscribe, share, comment, do the things to help us push this message forward, because we want to heal marriages. We want to show them that they can thrive after the altar. So we're your hosts, Jermaine and Lena. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Never and always gonna love you and always. No doubt you're my blessing. Ain't no second guessing. No one can separate. We find a good thing. Even after the altar, it's marriage in motion.